The Delhi car blast will face the strictest punishment, asserting that the punishment in the case will send a message to the world that no one should ever dare to carry out such an attack in Bharat again. Addressing the inauguration of the Motibhai Chaudhary Sagar Sainik School in Gujarat via video conferencing, Amit Shah also expressed deep condolences to the families of those who lost their loved ones in the explosion outside Delhi's Red Fort on Monday.
દિલ્હીમાં એક આતંકવાદી ઘટનામાં કાર વિસ્ફોટમાં 9 લોકોનું મૃત્યુ થયું અને 25ની આસપાસ નાગરિકો ઘવાયા છે. બોમ્બ બ્લાસ્ટની કાર્યવાહી કરવાના સૌ જે કોઈ ભી જે સ્તરે આની અંદર સંડોવાયેલા છે એ સૌને કાયદાની અદાલત સામે લઈ જઈ સૌને ઉચિત સજા થાય એના માટે ભારતના વડાપ્રધાનનો જે સંકલ્પ છે એ નિશ્ચિત રૂપે પૂરો થશે અને એક એવું ઉદાહરણ બેસવાનું છે કે જેથી ભવિષ્યમાં આવી ક્યારે આતંકવાદી ઘટના ના થાય.
To set an example that such an incident never recurs in Bharat, that's what the Union Home Minister said. Arunima now joining us. Arunima, very strong message from the Home Minister. But he's also said that the perpetrators will be meted out such punishment. So who are the perpetrators? Is that open to interpretation and thereby the consequences too now going forward?
Yeah, I think India has been very clear. Prime Minister spoke about this when he spoke in Bhutan. Home Minister himself spoke about this. He may not be naming, Jaish-e-Mohammed has been identified as the module behind this. So even though the top leadership is not naming the country which harbors Jaish-e-Mohammed, I think the message is very clear. When we are saying that the perpetrators of this attack will be brought to justice and the kind of exemplary punishment will be given so that anyone in future will remember how India really reacts when somebody decides to carry out terror attack. That language that the Home Minister used is also very, very clear. For now, when he says that the perpetrators will be brought to justice, of course, in immediate terms, he's talking about the white-collar module, the doctor module. It is still an ongoing investigation. Still, searches are going on. So even though some people have been taken into custody, the message is also to those module members who are still underground, who are still acting as sleeper cell. And like I said, the message is also to all those who think that by striking terror in the heart of India, they will get away unpunished. We saw what happened after Pahalgam. Operation Sindoor is on pause mode. And like I said, even though the government is not saying it in so many words, it is very evident that if investigation throws up such evidence, India will not hesitate to take whatever action is needed to keep our countrymen safe.
What does that mean for the next 72 hours plus? Viewers, we are also queuing up Bihar elections. The result day live. That coverage will be here on CNN News 18. But there is also the focus of the government. Elections will come and go, but the nation has to stay and the nation must be protected. And anybody who's trying to tear through the social fabric or push the nation back, push the country back, will be taught a lesson. We will speak at length on the white-collar terrorists and the threat and how should Bharat respond to these radicals, white-collar radicals, later on here on the show. Arunima, thank you. But for the moment, shifting focus to another global exclusive, viewers. Former Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has underlined Bharat's indispensable role in ensuring that her country does not slip into a Pakistan-style hybrid regime, warning that Dhaka risks political instability under the leadership of Mohammad Yunus. And speaking exclusively to CNN News 18's Security Affairs editor Manoj Kumar Gupta in a written interview, a text interview, Sheikh Hasina described Bharat as Bangladesh's steadfast friend and a key partner in preserving democratic stability in the region. She urged Bharat to back ordinary Bangladeshi civilians, individuals in their desire to choose their own government, adding that Bharat's continued engagement would be crucial to prevent Bangladesh from sliding into a Pakistan-style hybrid regime. She stressed that Bharat has long been Dhaka's closest ally, and its priority remains a stable democratic regime in Bangladesh. In her remarks, Sheikh Hasina also acknowledged Bharat's diplomatic backing since her ouster, praising New Delhi for calling for inclusive elections and highlighting minority persecution under the new government. She made it clear that the Awami League Her political base remains deeply entrenched in Bangladesh society. The Awami League does not need rebuilding within Bangladesh while it commands the support of tens of millions of ordinary Bangladeshi, is what she said. The ties that bind our countries run very deep, and this will not change. She also very openly cautioned that Bangladesh could face a future dominated by extremist influences if democratic norms are not restored. She accused Muhammad Yunus of acting as a cardboard cutout leader of a regime actually run by the Hizb ut-Tahrir extremists, and appealed to Bharat and other regional partners to continue pressing for free and fair elections. The only way to restore good health to Bangladesh's political system, she said, is by enabling a government to be elected and genuinely rule by the consent of the people. Sheikh Hasina reiterated Bharat's support for Bangladesh's democratic aspirations is not merely a matter of bilateral friendship, but a regional imperative. Our friends in Bharat must persist in their calls for democracy and inclusivity, she said. That is the best way to future-proof our country against regime degradation and ensure peace in South Asia. What does this imply? How circumspect is now Sheikh Hasina getting? And this is around the time that the Awami League has just started getting active on ground in Bangladesh. There have been protests mounted against Muhammad Yunus. Awami League currently stands banned in Bangladesh, viewers, and there are certain decisions that are being taken which could be telling in terms of for democracy to flourish in Bangladesh if they are allowed to do so. Lieutenant General D.P. Pandey, security analyst, is with us. Ambassador Rajiv Dogra, former diplomat, with us. Saddam Hussain, President, Bangladesh Students' League, is with us. My namaste to everybody. Thank you very, very much. Saddam Hussain, your thoughts on what the former Prime Minister has said in this interview with News 18.
Thank you. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina already mentioned the historic relationship between Bangladesh and India. We, from the liberation of war to our democratic transition, economic cooperation, and the mutual relationship between Bangladesh and India under our leadership. You know, it is a very exemplary one because it helps the Bangladeshi people for their economic emancipation, for political stability in Bangladesh. It helps in our development, for our economic growth, for making our people out of poverty. So Sheikh Hasina rightly pointed out that, and right now Bangladesh is having a great risk. There is no legal authority actually right now in Bangladesh. Those who are representing Bangladesh, those who are ruling Bangladesh, they do not have any legal mandate, constitutional mandate. And today, Awami League declared a dawn to dusk Dhaka lockdown program. And, the streets are really quiet today in Bangladesh. People responded in the program. They supported the program. They stayed indoor in Bangladesh. All the offices, schools, most of them are closed today in support of the program by Bangladesh Awami League. Bangladesh Awami League demanded restoring democracy for having a inclusive election, and also that stopping the judicial fights ongoing against Sheikh Hasina. And Dhaka today, I think, sending a powerful message that the people of Bangladesh will not tolerate hypocrisy, will not tolerate fascist behavior, will not tolerate this government for so many times. And Awami League mentioned that this movement will continue until the removal of the government. So I think Awami League is on the ground, and people are supporting them. And day by day, it is restoring its strength in the street. And without Awami League, it is not possible to held the election, and people will never support this. I think Awami League is going to lead the upcoming movement in a successful way.
But Lieutenant General D.P. Pandey and Ambassador Rajiv Dogra, first up, diplomatically, is there a message that Sheikh Hasina is sending with her answers? They were very carefully crafted. We'll get into the army and the coup part in a bit. But when she talks about the fact where she highlights Muhammad Yunus that he is a front of the radicals. She doesn't name BMP, she doesn't name Jamiat, she names the Hizbut Tahrir, Ambassador Rajiv Dogra. She does not decry or call down China or the US administrations, nor does she say that she believes any of the foreign powers were directly involved. Is this a little more, her getting a little more circumspect? Your thoughts, Ambassador Saab?
Well, I think having seen the interview, I would say that it is restrained, mature, but forceful, because it is as a democratic leader should be doing. And as you said very correctly, she has not attacked any of the political parties, but singled out the radical party or radical organization for a message. And talking of message, I think this interview was well timed because it will be also seen and heard by her cadres and by right-thinking people in Bangladesh. So that is good for their morale and for their spirits, because if they are coming out on the streets, that means that frustration is increasing.
Frustration is increasing, but
So
this is...
while that is...
Ji, please complete.
While that is a positive sign, that is encouraging sign, but the fact is that it's a tough road ahead to February elections, because the elections will be conducted under the supervision of an illegal regime imposed on the people of Bangladesh. And the closest advisors to this regime, led by Yunus, are the negatives of Pakistan. Because if you look back, ever since this regime came into power, the only important visitors from Pakistan have been the types of ISI, military generals and so on, who are not going to do any good for the democratic system in Bangladesh, because they have not done any good in their own country. The other close friend of this regime is China, which again is not a democrat. So I don't see a silver lining in a very dark cloud leading up to February elections.
So why do you say that? Why do you say that you don't see a silver lining? Don't you think nations can actually pressure the Yunus government to lift the ban on Awami League? Can there not be that much of pressure, especially if there is a groundswell? If what Saddam Hussein is saying, that the Awami League's call in Dhaka was met with a certain level of success, you think this groundswell won't increase? And perhaps the army could come there to facilitate? Waqaruzzaman is also still there in charge.
Well, that might be so, but within the army, there is a large section who are not exactly loyal to the army chief. And we've seen any number of reports about that. The second thing is that, yes, civilians, when they come out, and when they come out in frustration or rage, it certainly has an effect. But whether their protest will last, whether they'll have the patience to go through the rigors of a protest, that is open to doubt. But I must say, Awami League has a strong cadre, and there's a strong sentiment among the right-thinking Bangladeshis that what is happening in their country is not quite right.
Before I bring in General Pandey, just getting you another dynamic out of these 10 questions. While speaking with CNN News 18's Manoj Gupta in this global exclusive, former Bangladesh Prime Minister says that at the time leaving was a matter of survival. I did not want to leave Bangladesh, but it was made clear to me that remaining would not only have put my life in danger, but also the lives of those around me. The military was faced with an impossible situation, defending a constitutional government against overwhelming mob violence while avoiding any further further loss of life. It was only after the events of August 5 that I started to discern the premeditated nature of this coup, the speed with which Yunus seized power, the immediate immunity granted to perpetrators, and the dissolution of our judicial inquiry are all acts that indicate a preconceived strategy. Yunus, it seems, had been preparing to seize power, or those who installed him had. It is no secret that Yunus was popular at California salons owing to his former work as an economist. But he is not a symbol of democratic regime change, nor does he command any broad support. He is an unelected figure who is now seeking to bar from the election a party that is supported by millions and which has been elected 9 times in the past, including the last time Bangladeshis were able to go to the ballot box. If Westerners think Yunus is a friendly face, they are being fooled. In fact, he is being used as the front man by extremists in his administration who are pursuing a sectarian, score-settling and socially regressive domestic agenda. General Pandey.
Yeah, so Anand, firstly, if Westerners don't know that Yunus is being used, I think we will be quite incorrect in our appreciation, because they exactly know what they are doing, right? How they have been used, and this is the system of regime change. The people have gone about, these countries have gone about in various. This thing create disturbances, get a turmoil done. It looks as if it is inorganic, but everything is organized, arranged. And as you just very rightly pointed out, the change, the way it happened, and Madam Hasina has just said, it was Yunus was well prepared to take on, and everything just fell into place, right? I just want to just go back a little bit. I think the evil eyes on Bangladesh finally won over, and if you recall, just about a year back, everybody was comparing Bangladesh with Pakistan, two nations, how they have evolved, how progressive Bangladesh is, economic prowess, well-being, people are happier, everything was there. And suddenly something happened, because possibly she did not agree to what was required by a particular regime for whichever purpose, and we all know exactly what is. And therefore this issue which is being felt today, and the question which starts, that India needs to ensure that a progressive democracy is in place. But I must just tell you one thing. A stable Bangladesh is not good only for India, right? It is good for Bangladeshis. And if you see, every time when a stable, positive government has come, Bangladesh has progressed. And every time when there is a dictatorial regime or a regime which was akin to what was there in Pakistan has come, Bangladesh has slid into anarchy, and not only anarchy, the number of radical extremist elements which have got power, they have been propped up in that area. And frankly, Bangladesh, the way it is positioned, there is just no way till the time they have a good relationship with India, their future is secure. So can India manage a secure with a radical nation? And you're seeing very well that on the west we got one, and secondly, when you have Yunus-led government which is actually controlled by radicals for whatever reasons, it is not good even for India. So I think a stable Bangladesh, a progressive Bangladesh, a democratic Bangladesh is very, very important for Bangladeshis, for the region, and of course for surely for India. And we really hope that the elections, and there is a doubt about elections, these manufacturing of events will, as we progress towards elections, you will find reasons to be created that elections should not happen. Right? And therefore, all these street protests, things which are happening, we have to also see with that vision. We just can't start believing that it is only because these protests are on, so that the feelings of population is being seen on the ground. And Awami League is actually getting power on the street back, because the leadership of Awami League is actually being butchered and cut off. Right? Yeah. They have been. So there is hardly any leadership actually to lead. So whatever will happen will truly happen as a youth agitation, because eventually they will find that this radical government, there's a pressure, economic pressure which is there. They are cut off from the world. After all, America cannot fund. ISI cannot give them money, jobs, and they can't take their, they can only give them weapons. But can they give them, connect with the rest of the world in terms of their, the goods which have to go out? Eventually, the cheapest good is to come from India. They got manufactured, and thereafter they got sold all over the world. But certainly when you are the way the posturing you are doing in the region, I don't think the Chinese are going to buy expensive goods from them in case it is the way the situation is. So,
Yeah, interestingly, Bharat has not stopped the supply of staples to it. It's not stopped. It's not hurting Bangladesh the way it actually can in terms of food supplies and staple supplies, because Bangladesh really depends. And much as he would want to flaunt this entire art of triumph thing, where he talks about a greater Bangladesh, including Bharat's northeast, it's Bangladesh which is actually landlocked by Bharat, and we can really squeeze them if we really wanted to, and that's where somewhere Sheikh Hasina has thanked Bharat for its restraint, despite the utterances of some of these individuals. Interestingly, viewers, most of the people who are currently part of this interim government, including Mohammad Yunus, are not Bangladesh citizens. They all have foreign passports. They're all entities, individuals who've given up their Bangladesh citizenship and they hold international passports, European, African, or even American passports. So that's what is the current situation. Saddam Hussein can bear me out on that. Meanwhile, just 2-3 aspects before we come back to our guest and question to you, Saddam, after this. The army, Waqar-uz-Zaman, the Bangladesh army, what was their role? Were they acting on behalf of somebody else, or did they betray Sheikh Hasina? These are questions, and Sheikh Hasina said that by early August, the protests had begun over civil service quotas and morphed into violent unrest driven by radical agitators, turning the capital into a battlefield where the chain of command, public order, and the state's authority were under threat simultaneously. She did not directly attribute her exit to the Army Chief General Waqar-uz-Zaman, emphasizing instead that the military was attempting to walk a tightrope in a collapsing environment. Whether or what kind of external pressure influenced decisions, I cannot say, she said, stressing that her criticism was not aimed at the army but at those who exploited the chaos. Then, speaking further, she said that and responding to this question on whether Beijing had advised restraint or given assurances during her final days in office, she said her government had always prioritized strong ties with China for both trade and security reasons. She, however, warned that the confidence was under threat while the current unelected administration led by Mohammad Yunus remained in power. She accused the interim government of pursuing volatile foreign and trade policies that could undermine Bangladesh's credibility as a regional partner. The other aspect, and the important one, is that Bangladesh has maintained good relationships with successive US administrations, and that there is no reason to believe Washington or other foreign powers were directly involved in the country's political developments. Now, Saddam Hussein, this is a contradiction to her white man comment. This is a contradiction to what her position was a few months ago.
Thank you. I think Sheikh Hasina mentioned her statement regarding the ongoing situation. She emphasized on the present movement and trying to achieve democracy in Bangladesh. So it's the political strategy of the party. By that, she can serve Bangladesh better. And I think the inner message is focusing on struggle, regaining strength in the street, and also I think the Bangladesh Army and other government bodies of Bangladesh should remove their support or withdraw their support from the government, because whether everyone wants democratic transition in Bangladesh, whoever may become in power must be decided by the people. But the current government is not capable, is not legally capable. The performance in the last 16 years do not give any hope to the people of Bangladesh that they will can have a credible election. So removal of the government is the main thing, and whether it is political parties, people, civil societies, everyone is I think believing this.
But the army has not said anything about Awami League being banned. The army has not said, the army, Waqar-uz-Zaman, after saying that, democratic processes are, on the down and things are not going as was promised, after that he's largely kept quiet. He's not said much. So which side is the army?
I think that the ongoing problem is mainly political, and Bangladesh Army, we hope that they will play a role, because They have a deadline of having election within 18 months. Also, this illegal government, they are not maintaining that. They are trying to have their so-called election in February, which is also, that the not with the matter of Bangladesh Army, not with the thinking of Bangladesh Army, and other things regarding Chittagong Port and some other security matters, sovereign matters. Bangladesh, the current illegal government, they played a role. They're risking our sovereignty, they're risking our independence. So there is growing intention between army and government. This is a ongoing situation. So I think we are with the passage of time, everyone will play a responsible role in democratic transition and to have a inclusive, fair, and election which will maintain the international standard.
Ambassador Rajiv Dogra, her utterances, are they not in variance? What she has told us in the interview, in variance to what she had said about the white man wanted Saint Martin Islands and that's why I am being pushed out. Is she now trying to, tell the Trump administration you made the wrong choice, rectify your mistakes? What is it that she's telling the Chinese? Because Yunus just went to Beijing.
Well, I think, as I said earlier also, Sheikh Hasina has become wise by the experience of what happened to her government. So she does not want to upset her relations with America anymore. The island issue and so on is now past her. She is looking ahead, and she does not want America on the wrong side of her party or her prospects. But there are a couple of other things which I want to point out. That since her departure, Bangladesh's economy has gone on a downward slope. And this is happening when an economist, so-called economist, is in charge of the regime. The non-performing loans of the bank are 27%. Wow. Just by way of comparison, India's non-performing loans in the banks are just 2.5%. That is why Asian Development Bank, as I think last week only, said that the Bangladesh banking system is the most fragile in the region. So that's not a good commentary. The second is the intentions leading up to February. There were two issues that you flagged. One is the intention of the army. Second is the democratic part of the election, which are supposed to be held in February. I really doubt whether they will be democratic. Partly because along with the elections, there's also a referendum which is going to be held. And what is the referendum about? It's almost a copy of what Pakistan has done yesterday. There will be changes in constitution, there will be political changes and so on. So is Pakistan tutoring Bangladesh on how to conduct fair and free elections and also how to change constitution to military's advantage? So signs are not very positive. Let's just hope the protest movement takes off, becomes effective and is forceful enough to make the regime rethink or even give up. But I have my doubt.
You have your doubt. General Pandey, how are we allowing one Muniristan, the other one Yunistan? Are we going to allow this?
Yeah, but actually, unfortunately, India has never tried regime change and stuff like this. So we are not masters in practice. I'm sure Ambassador Saab will agree with me that we have neither overtly or covertly interfered with the internal politics for the people. But frankly, it is not. But I just want to quickly highlight, I think there is a sense which is coming out to Sheikh Hasina ji, that with the performance of Yunus and the trouble which is brewing in terms of economic sense, internal security challenge which is coming up, I think the West is also very quickly understanding that to prop up this gentleman, there is going to be a future challenge. You may have a airstrip, or you may have a port, or you may have a linkage, but exactly like what is happening in Pakistan or Balochistan, you may have a place, but you may not be able to operate because the local situations don't allow you to manage it. Right. So this, I think the messaging which is there, while it is surely mature, but I think message is that if we come, we'll look at things differently. So that is why one positive message. Second is,
Right.
how can she say anything against army? We all understand that there is a segment of army which was slightly extremist, has come about on Jamaat Islami backbone, and there are leadership which were wanting to have a coup in terms of take out the present chief, and all that thing was stopped. So I have a perception, I have a belief that the chief is tied in with somebody,
Right.
and some segments are tied in with this thing. But can Sheikh Hasina, who knows that army is an institution by itself, so even if she knows the role what they have played to get her out, right, by creating a situation that she is taken out from there, eventually when she falls back, it is the army where she'll have to rely on, at least not to create trouble. So
Right.
therefore, when you're dealing with a very important institution, it is very difficult to find fault or blame. So there is a very, it's a great political message to say that, okay, whatever has been done is done. I understand there were compulsions. West, things have been done. We are the same, but let not Bangladeshi people come to grief. Because eventually, in this entire turmoil,
Right.
it is the Bangladeshis who are coming unto grief, and let us go. I am the only power center which will allow a progress and a positive environment to have and take control of the country. I think this is the message which has come about from the interview which he had with News 18.
Well, you've wrapped it up beautifully, General Pandey, as always. Thank you very, very much. And Ambassador Rajiv Rohra, thank you very much. Please stay on with us because we're going to shift focus. Saddam Hussain, thank you very much for joining us. And we'll see how it happens. Elections anywhere should be free, fair, and everybody should be allowed to participate, especially in Bangladesh and the Awami League, which are like synonymous to each other. Let's move on and bring it closer home. And on the 10/11 incident, the Delhi blast, viewers, 13 people. That death toll has gone up to 13 because one Mr. Hassan, who was battling with his injuries and battling for life, succumbed. So that death toll has now gone to 13. Killed, several injured, nearly 31, when a high-density blast went off near the Red Fort metro station in New Delhi on Monday. Now, close on the heels of the agencies unearthing a massive pan-Bharat terror network involving doctors and recovering 2,900 kilograms of explosives and ammunition. Now, in the wake of these recent developments, a show-cause notice has now been issued to the university. And not just that, even the website has now been taken down, this Al-Falah University. The agencies are tightening the noose. The ED, the Economic Offences Wing, are set to join the investigation with the NIA. The source of funding of the university is also under scrutiny. Bomb squads are currently at the Al-Falah University and have recovered a Brezza, red color Brezza car from the university, which is registered to Shaheen Shahid. Now, this doctor, Shaheen Shahid, has been codenamed Surgeon Madam in communications with Jaish-e-Mohammed operatives and handlers. She's supposed to be tasked with leading the women's module of the Jaish in Bharat and also to co-opt, recruit in a 4-stage basis of identifying women for international operations, local operations, conversion, and also carrying out terror acts. Now, the core team included 5 people: Umar the bomber, the cleric Maulvi Irfan, doctors Adil Radar and Muzammil Shakil. Adil Radar's brother Muzaffar is the one who's coordinating the actions away abroad because he's currently based in Afghanistan, somewhere in Waziristan. That's where his location, last known location is. Muzammil Shakil, of course, and also another woman. Now, this woman financed Muzammil as she was his girlfriend, but authorities are still not sure how involved she is in these jihadi acts. Now, apart from this, there are also 2 people who seem to be very crucial to this entire module. The spotlight is on Adil's brother Muzaffar, who I was just mentioning has fled to Afghanistan, is somewhere in the Waziristan region, and also Amir Rashid, who bought the car. Amir Rashid is a resident of the Sambura village in Pulwama. Let's go across to Kiran Bediji, former IPS and also former Lieutenant Governor Puducherry, General Pandey, former GOC, 15 corps. He served in Jammu and Kashmir and he's dealt with these. He's one of the first people to coin the terms of hybrid terrorists and white-collar terrorists and white-collar radicals. Ambassador Rajiv Dogra is with us. My namaste and Jai Hind to everybody. Thank you for your time. My first question is, how do we deal with white-collar radicals? There are various aspects to this, but a university like Al-Falah University, which has given job to someone who's been sacked from a Jammu and Kashmir job for working against the interest of the state, gets a job here. The owners are from Mau in Madhya Pradesh and they have actually looted people on a Ponzi scam, and then they have taken this money and set up this university in Haryana. Its accreditations itself are dated, they are gone. It's all happening right under the noses of everybody, and this has now become a hotbed for white-blooded or white-collared radicals. Radicals who've been carrying this thought process for at least 6 to 7 years, if not more. They're playing the long game. They've been preparing for this since 2022. They've been groomed since 2018, 2019, General Pandey.
So first, I think we started the whole show by saying that the Home Minister has said that strictest punishment will be given, right? Strictest punishment to the guys who get caught. But I think when, I must just say with my experience, 7 tenures in Kashmir, the guys, everybody knows who's a white-collar terrorist, right? We are unable to actually, the fear of the people is so much that they are unable to actually come out and point out that so-and-so is there, because eventually when this guy comes out and steps out and points to somebody that he's a guy who's actually recruiting, who's shaping mind and doing the terror financing and all, he knows that he will eventually get targeted. So therefore, one is that I think somewhere not only Jammu Kashmir police but the entire administration of our country needs to start looking at the people, the men behind the entire structures who are doing it, and they are amongst us, right? Second is follow the money. I think Dr. Bedi, Kiran Bedi is there, she will agree that when you follow the money trail, you start knowing who is funding, who's controlling, and who are the beneficiaries of it. So I'm sure very much that if you look at this university and you exactly know where the funding is coming, why the people from other parts of the world are coming and visiting and inspecting, they're not coming here for welfare or philanthropic activity. They are actually coming for setting up some nefarious agenda. It may be just talking of a particular religion and thought process. But when all these things happen, this money also leads to some other stuff. So if you start following the money trail, you start following the education trail for long. I have been of the view that Jammu and Kashmir, the challenge is not about unemployment, not about education. It is of an ambiguity. It is about peddling the soft separatism, a very soft manner in which you talk on the social media, on media. It starts from the political process, starts from top leadership. But please understand, everybody understands law. The moment you start applying law correctly and appropriately, all these voices of soft separatism, white-collar terrorists, sacking of these people starts changing. How was he allowed?
Right.
When he was sacked by the Lieutenant Governor of duty of J&K, how was he allowed to get a job in a university where he's now going to be teaching others? Why the process when he was found to be dealing with terror activities, why was he not put behind the bars? I need to tell you this one point, when I was a co-commander, and I will not name the people, the challenge was that even the police knew they had FIRs, but to process them and put them into actually jail was a major challenge for them, because the whole system was aligned to protect people who are anti-national, who are willing to carry all other flags than the Tiranga which they should be carrying, right? So this is a huge challenge. If the Home Minister really wants to have the strictest punishment, rather than only getting after these doctors, I think if you search the social media search engine, you'll find number of people have been attributing these blasts and these recoveries to Bihar elections, right? And it is not only Jammu and Kashmir, and somewhere people should be held accountable that who has allowed you to perceive we may be living in democracy, but the fact of the matter is that shifting these thought processes requires to be corrected, and somebody must come up and explain that if I am posting this thing that is elected to Bihar election, how have you come to this conclusion? Who's told you this?
Right. There are those people who are kite flyers and who will say whatever it is to get trolled or to get attention, and also traction. But there is that realm of freedom of expression and the freedom to speak. Now, somebody saying something is not the same as somebody doing something. Now, how do we stop people who are actually bent upon doing something? Kiran Bediji, thank you for your patience. But the thing is, these are people who have taken the Hippocratic Oath. On their day-to-day lives, they're actually busy saving lives. One of them is an MD Pediatrics. The other person is a double graduate and a senior. A third has been a doctor for at least 10 years. How many lives they would have saved? But they were all at this point, all the time plotting to say, how are we going to take a lot of lives? How are we going to make a statement that embarrasses Bharat and portrays and they were preparing for an eventuality where there is a Muslim genocide in Bharat. There is a massacre in Muridkai that doesn't matter to them. All the Muslim nations, each one is fighting with the other. More Muslims are dying in Muslim nations. That escapes their intelligence and their attention. And in Bharat, where we follow a syncretic, inclusive culture, they believe Muslims are in danger, Kiranji. Who are these people?
Anand, I will carry forward where the generals left.
Ji.
I think let's understand, terror is their business. Terror is their business. And that's oxygen for them. If you want to nip it, because nothing will happen without money. Focus on all their accounts. Focus on all sources of money coming from whichever country it is. The banking has to be involved. Bank has to alert the agencies that this is the money which is coming from this place and for these people. And those suspected people's names should be with the banks. Now, banks, we are nowhere having any banker with us in the panel discussion. But you stop the money, you stop the terror. How will they do it? Where will they buy the weapons from? Where will they buy the cars from? How will they run those institutions as they're doing? Where will they buy the ammunition from? Why? Where will they pay people? Where? It's money, friends. If we get to attack money, now how do we attack money? It's a financial trail. Get to the ecosystem. This NGO woman, the doctor who's running the NGO, was being funded from certain countries. And I do not know whether she has an FCR account. But if she had an FCR account, that should have been taken off long ago. That means as an NGO, how is she getting funded? Where is it coming from? And the countries were mentioned. I'm not mentioning the country because they are friendly countries to us. But it's coming from. So if you target from just 2-3 countries where the money is coming from, and any entry coming from certain people, which bankers should have the names, check with the EO and find out what's happening. I'm telling you, stop there, dry them out, make them hungry.
But Kiranji, a lot of this is also via Hawala. So there is money paid elsewhere and that money is collected elsewhere. So there is this entire Hawala network which is also where cash is happening. See, they paid in cash. They didn't pay via bank transfers. Money was received in bank, but these are over 3-4 years. It's small tranches the way it comes. So they know how to fly under the radar.
Where are they keeping the money? Anand, where are they keeping the money? Are they stacking money in the godown? Are they stacking money? Where is the money?
Ma'am.
Where is the money? Even if it's a Hawala ecosystem, get at their back-end ecosystem and look at the lifestyle. And they should come under the radar of the intelligence agencies.
Ma'am, here is the thing. They were keeping AK-56 and AK-47 rifles in their GMC college lockers. And they had stashed away nearly 3 tons of ammonium nitrate or urea in a godown in a village in Haryana, in Faridabad. And nobody... None was the wiser. That's what I'm trying to say. They were so motivated, ma'am.
I'm saying, who rented the house to them? Who rented it? Who rented it? And there is a law that you need to verify. Tenant verification is important. Why wasn't tenant? The point is, citizens will also have to exercise responsibility and they have to be taken to task. We have to dry out how do we handle Hawala? That's also, I'm sure we have the skill. How do we handle Hawala? Even Hawala, financial intelligence needs to be. We must attack money. We need to have money trails. And unless we make them poor, we will continue to suffer because they'll have enough money to continue to do these acts of terror.
Right.
I see there are many other ways. I'm only attacking at the moment one issue.
Ji.
And I have been talking about it even since yesterday.
Ji.
How do we handle money and hawala, whether it's hawala or, and number 3, let's have data system. A data system where suspected people are on the data, and that data is common through the NIA and through these, particularly these regions, coming from one part of India, which is Kashmir, which is the breeding ground. I think data sharing and putting them on a suspect list and then inquiring and then finding out when they're buying anything.
Right.
See, they're buying. So once we have a data, the algorithm will tell us these are suspected people. There would be red alerts on that.
Right.
We need to use better technology and with face recognitions, use technology to flag these suspects all the time and keep them under radar.
Right. Now, I'm just going to highlight the economic shock or what their intent was, and the other information I'm going to request the team to put it out because we've got just 3 minutes on the show and I want Ambassador Rajiv Dogra to also have his say. Thing is, exclusive interrogation details in the Delhi blast case viewers accessed by CNN News 18 reveal that the incident was not intended solely as a lethal attack or to take lives. They were calculating it as a series of terrorist acts with a strategic aim of imposing economic shock and intense political pressure on the government. The attackers' main purpose was to create widespread cascading disruption. The objective was to force systemic chaos, including economic disruption, healthcare paralysis, MNC operational losses, and airport and flight chaos, all designed to fundamentally undermine public confidence in the state's security and stability. This is described as a classic strategy to amplify stress and strain on government resources, thereby creating immense political pressure. Ambassador Rajiv Dogra, they wanted to orchestrate an uprising that starts with a series of bomb blasts.
Well, it reminds me of the 1993 bomb blast in Bombay. That was huge in dimension, well planned, and this was supposed to be equally huge, if not even bigger in dimension. We were lucky, we were very fortunate as a nation that security agencies and whoever was responsible got wind of it and they were able to nab these people. Right. Not entirely, but almost completely. But there is still a huge amount in this network which is existing somewhere in the country.
Gee.
That is why for years we've talked of 2.5 front war. The half front war being within the country, whichever part of the country it is and whichever part of the society it is. That's a different issue. But the question, if you have the time, which I want to ask General Pandey is that how were they able to get 3 tons of explosive into a village or a room or a go down, and what is the explosive power of 3 tons of explosives?
Ji.
If a grenade is thrown somewhere...
No. Ambassador Saab, I've run out of time, but we'll do the math. We've done the math. This is ammonium nitrate, which is present in urea. So they were accumulating urea, converting into ammonium nitrate, and they want to accelerate it with fuel oil and then a detonator. This is a model that's been used even in the Pulwama car blast. And this was used in the Oklahoma blast too. We'll get you all the details, but perhaps after Result Day, we'll take this conversation forward. It is Bihar Result Day live on Friday. And after that, we will get back into this and also do a far greater, deeper dive. I thank all our guests. Thank you very much. We're going to wind up this edition of The Right Stand on that note. Thank you for watching, viewers. Namaste.
We're going to be fast, we have the live result hub, but more than that, we are going to be dead accurate. We are all set and ready to go. It's going to get intense and we are ready for it.
Our viewers rely on us to be the best. If not us, then who?
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
The Mahagathbandhan, securing 98 to 118 seats. Prashant Kishore's Jan Swaraj Party is expected to win between 0 and 2 seats. The poll also indicates NDA could maintain 45% support among women voters compared to 40% for the Mahagathbandhan, keeping its core Mahila voter base intact. Overall, Axis suggests a much closer fight than most other exit polls have indicated so far. Now, RJD leader Sunil Kumar Singh has stoked a row. He claims that counting of votes was stopped for 4 hours back in the year 2020, and if that happens again, Nepal-like scenes will be witnessed on the roads of Bihar. Listen in to the RJD threat.
जो कुकृत आपने वर्ष 2020 में किया कि 4-4 घंटा आपने काउंटिंग रोकवा दिया, 4-4 घंटा किसी को बारे में किसी को कुछ पता नहीं था, वो काम अगर इस बार होगा तो या तो मेरा उम्मीदवार बाहर आएगा या वो जो रिटर्निंग अफसर होगा वो बाहर आएगा। मैं आपको चेतावनी देना चाहता हूं कि ये बेईमान लोग जिस चुनाव आयोग के बारे में साख पर उसका बट्टा लग चुका है, जितने रिटर्निंग अफसर हैं, किस तरह से उनकी पोस्टिंग की गई है, तो यह पूरी जनता आशंकित है कि कहीं न कहीं आप बेईमानी कीजिएगा तो आपको भी नेपाल का दृश्य यहां पर देखने को मिलेगा।
आरजेडी के लोग सिर्फ और सिर्फ गुंडागर्दी की भाषा बोलते हैं, वही जानते हैं वो। ये क्या कहना हुआ साहब कि जहां काउंटिंग होगी वहां से या तो रिटर्निंग ऑफिसर निकलेगा, चाहे उनका प्रत्याशी निकलेगा। ये धमकी भरी, दरअसल ये जानते हैं कि चुनाव हार रहे हैं। इन्हें ये बात पक्के तौर पे समझ में आ गई है कि जनता ने, बिहार की जनता ने अपना समर्थन, आशीर्वाद इनको नहीं दिया, तो अभी से ये हार के बहाने ढूंढ रहे हैं और सड़कों पर गुंडागर्दी करने की धमकी दे रहे हैं। याद रखिए आरजेडी के गुंडे, ये सरकार है सुशासन की, गुंडागर्दी करना चाहेंगे एक एक को पकड़ के जेल में भेजा जाएगा। गुंडागर्दी की सजा मिलेगी। अगर आप इस तरह की कोई हरकत करते हैं तो सजा भुगतने के लिए भी तैयार रहिए। आप
दावा क्या कर रहे हैं? बांग्लादेश बना देंगे, अरे नेपाल बना देंगे। अरे लोकतंत्र की जननी है। कौन माई का लाल पैदा लिया है इस बिहार में, जो माननीय नीतीश कुमार जी के एनडीए की सरकार में कानून को अगर कोई अपने हाथ में लेने की कोशिश करेगा तो चुनाव आयोग तो मुकम्मल व्यवस्था किया ही है। ऐसे बयान राजनीति के केवल छुरछुरी पटाखा है, इसके अलावा कोई औचित्य नहीं।
All right, let's quickly go across to Arun Nata, who's joining me live from Pata. Arun, is this a veiled threat coming in from the RJD, given that this is also hinting at a possibility what perhaps Bihar could expect if the MGB loses?
Well, that's right. And BJP was very quick to latch on to it, Kancha, saying that, look, this is the mindset and this is the jungle raj that we were talking about. Remember, during the campaigning time, the NDA's biggest poll flank was the Jungle Raj 2.0 return, which they are saying people of the state witnessed from 1995 to 2005 when Yadav family, Lalu Yadav family was at the helm of the affairs. Now, RJD MLC saying this, that the vote stopping happened in 2020. If it happens this time around in this polls, then people will come out. He's not only targeting election commission, but also sending a message to the RJD cadres that this is something which we gonna do, and that's something which is not good for the democracy. And remember, Akanksha, that when Prime Minister Modi and Amit Shah, while campaigning, speaking about Jungle Raj 2.0, in fact, Prime Minister Modi highlighted the song culture, the songs which were used in the RJD's rallies, that was used by Prime Minister Modi, saying that, look, even before the polls, these people, RJD people, have started using these songs, and this shows the mindset. And if they will come to power, this is something which is going to happen. One of the songs was RJD Sarkar Banto, Yadav Rangdar Banto. That was a clear, of course, sign that when jab RJD ki Sarkar banti hai, to Yadav Rangdar banta hai. And there were various other songs of this kind which were used in the rallies and the programs of the RJD and Mahagathbandhan. That's something which picked up by the BJP. Now, when Sunil Kumar, MLC of RJD, is saying this, of course, RJD has a good support base here in Bihar. And when one of their leaders makes such statement, that's something which will, of course, a message for the cadres, which is not at all good for the state and for the democracy. We know tomorrow is a very, very important day. It's the counting day. Everyone is bracing for that as to what is going to happen in Bihar, who's going to be at the helm of power for next 5 years. At this point, RJD MLC coming out and making such a controversial statement is something which, of course, bound a response from the BJP side, and they've already reacted to it, saying that this is the original mindset of RJD, and that's what we've been speaking about while campaigning to the people of Bihar, that this is what will happen.
Many thanks to you, Arun, for bringing us all.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
The Mahagathbandhan securing 98 to 118 seats. Prashant Kishore's Jan Swaraj Party is expected to win between 0 and 2 seats. The poll also indicates NDA could maintain 45% support among women voters compared to 40% for the Mahagathbandhan, keeping its core Mahila voter base intact. Overall, access suggests a much closer fight than most other exit polls have indicated so far. Now, RJD leader Sunil Kumar Singh has stoked a row. He claims that counting of votes was stopped for 4 hours back in the year 2020, and if that happens again, Nepal-like scenes will be witnessed on the roads of Bihar. Listen in to the RJD threat.
जो कुकृत आपने वर्ष 2020 में किया कि 4-4 घंटा आपने काउंटिंग रोकवा दिया, 4-4 घंटा किसी को बारे में किसी को कुछ पता नहीं था, वो काम अगर इस बार होगा तो या तो मेरा उम्मीदवार बाहर आएगा या वो जो रिटर्निंग अफसर होगा वो बाहर आएगा। मैं आपको चेतावनी देना चाहता हूं कि ये बेईमान लोग जिस चुनाव आयोग के बारे में साख पर उसका बट्टा लग चुका है, जितने रिटर्निंग अफसर हैं, किस तरह से उनकी पोस्टिंग